Amazon is tracking their delivery drivers more than you'll ever know, and I'm here to tell you the truths. Follow me today on my route, and I'll expose everything. Good morning guys, Chris here and welcome back to the Amazon vlogs. Today I'm going to talk about everything that Amazon tracks for delivery drivers. We have all the metrics from the AI camera to all the photo it takes and what it does with that data to everything in between. There are so many metrics that I had to write them all in my notebook right here. See, it's a lot. I didn't want to forget, so I wrote it down. And at the end, I'm going to show you why it all matters. So every time we log into our app, this is the first thing we see. We have to take a picture of ourselves. I don't know why. There we go. Oh man. You have to take a good picture of yourself. You can't take an ugly one. There you go. Beautiful. And what it does with my face, who knows, you know? You can't go through the app without identifying yourself first. Oh man. And we started really early today, so we get to scan the VIN code to get our route. Do this, and now we have our pre-inspection. So our pre-inspection is tracked by how fast we do it. You have to do at least minimum 90 seconds in the EDV, and for step vans it's minimum 5 minutes. So if you go way too fast like I'm doing right now, it's bad. Amazon flags you. Bad metric, so we have to wait 90 seconds. So here's our first cart. So we're looking pretty light today, I guess. 170 stops, 14 packages. This is also a very important metric that Amazon wants you to do. You gotta scan your carts. There is an option to skip them right here, but it's bad. It's bad. Because when it goes to like Amazon corporate, they're like, what the heck? Why did you scan these carts? Yeah, this is what post Christmas looks like. Nothing too heavy, pretty chill. And let's get these bags in our truck. You guys hear that? Swipe to finish, start travel. That's a very important metric as well for Amazon. They want everyone to leave at a certain time from the building. You always hear that, swipe to finish. And then when you press start travel, it starts like an imaginary timer. A timer that from the warehouse to your first stop. You can see there's a big sign behind the middle post. It says swipe to finish, start travel. So you never forget. And then we're just waiting on this row to go first, and we'll go afterwards. And we're off. Yeah, so the time going from your warehouse to the first stop is known as, I believe, outbound / inbound time. It's one or the other. The other one's coming from your last stop to the warehouse, but it's a very important metric to build into routes. Sometimes you'll hear your dispatcher tell you, hey, you can't stop at the warehouse. You can't stop anywhere between your warehouse and your first stop. It's kind of annoying. A lot of drivers like to get themselves situated. Like they'll stop at the break room, maybe they'll grab a snack, maybe they have to use the bathroom. But it really affects the metrics for Amazon, so that's why you might hear dispatchers say, hey, don't stop at the warehouse after loadout, don't go to anywhere besides your first stop. a lot of times when you go to your first stop, there's a lot of stops like bagel shops. Maybe there's a nice coffee you like, Dunkin' or Starbucks. Depending how strict your dispatcher is with those metrics, you might not be able to. It makes me wish I was still at FedEx. You know, at FedEx, my boss, before I left Loadout, he'll give me like $5-10 bucks. He's like, yo, go get yourself a coffee. I was like, thanks, Freddie. You know, cause with that food in the morning, that caffeine, that soda, it helps me do my route faster. But here at Amazon, they care more about metrics than your well-being. Alright, here we are at our first stop. That took about half an hour. We got new routes after the new year, and we're a lot further out than what I'm usually used to. Not saying that's a bad thing, because we're kind of like out there. You can see how big the houses are and how much space there's and how much grass and how much yard everyone has. So essentially, after you press I parked, or the EDV does it automatically for you, that completes the outbound, inbound time. And now we're gonna start service time. Service time's when you press I parked, and then it's right here. It just started right now. There's a timer. There's an imaginary timer that just started, and it starts service time. So let me try to find the package. It's taking me a long time because I did not organize the packages. There's no time. Today we were in such a rush. Today we started so early. I didn't have a lot of things to do to prepare for today. Continue with one package. And once you do swipe to finish, that completes the service time. And now that we're back in the truck, we have to press start travel. So start travel, once we press this, it starts transit time. If you're driving the EDV like me, you can just start to travel by putting it in drive. And now there's an imaginary timer that starts, and it's pretty much the drive time but in between stops. So, damn it. My stops are behind me. Oh my god, I hate my life. Okay, as I was saying, transit time is the time it takes to drive between stops. This one's behind me. I have to do a K-turn, a U-turn. Let's see. So the next house is next to our first house. And after you put it into park, timer stops. The timer stops and the service time starts again. Deliver this like that. Front door. And when you do swipe to finish, service time stops. Why do we care about this outbound, inbound time, service time, transit time? All this information is taken account in how the routes are built. Have you ever heard your dispatcher tell you that the faster you go, the more packages you get? This is especially true on how the algorithm works here at Amazon to building and optimizing the route. So routes are built into 8, 9, or 10 hours. Here at my building, it's 10-hour routes. It takes all that time, and when it hits 10 hours, that's how much you're expected to do. So it takes data from the past 2 months, and in 10 hours, data shows that it takes about, or you can do about 160 stops for the whole day. So unfortunately, being the fastest driver on the team has its negatives. One of the fastest drivers on my team, Christner, gets the most packages just because he finishes routes so fast. During Prime Week, Christner had the most packages. He would have like 600, 700 packages and have like 180, 190 plus stops. But knowing Christner, he definitely got it done in time. He gets punished for being good at his job. Yep, here at Amazon, they only treat us by the metrics and numbers. They don't give a shit about you as a human. That's why they like robots more than human, because they're more reliant and dependable on them. So when making the routes, it doesn't take in the consideration time of taking breaks. You actually have to manually clock them in. As you can see, here's a break right here. This is for the two 15-minute breaks and your 30-minute meal break, lunch. And if you do this, it begins a timer. This timer goes in the route optimization time too. Oh, hello. Just got one package for you guys. No problem. Alright, let me check my notes to see what's next. Pictures on delivery, or POD, pod. You probably don't know this, but Amazon wants us to take a picture at pretty much every opportunity we can get, besides like businesses. And it tracks how many pictures we take versus how many bad pictures we take. And with this ratio, if you have a very low ratio, bad things will happen to you. Or it'll just lower your driver scorecard. So let me show you. As you guys know, we take pictures all the time. It always opts us to take a picture every time we do a delivery, right? But what if I told you this picture app had AI technology in it? Let me show you on my next stop. Oh my god, it had to be this house, right? Small box. Scan this package. Oh my gosh. Let's say if I want to be a lazy driver and just leave it on the driveway, take a picture, watch what happens. Please double check the delivery. And it says, do not place packages on the lawn, driveway, roads, outside lockers, or in garbage cans, or in the mailbox. So I don't know how it does it, but as you can see, I can't take a picture on the driveway. I guess it just takes like the pixels and it knows it's not a front door or driveway. If I take a picture of the grass, as you can see, please double check the delivery. So if you want to put it in the mailbox or that, it's gonna make sure to double check the delivery. See, and now it works fine when I put it at a door. The retry message happens a lot when you try to deliver to the garages, or when it gets like 4 or 5 p.m. here in the winter, it gets pretty dark. You can't have the photos too dark. To demonstrate, it's dark. See? Retry delivery. Or if it's too blurry. Okay, that didn't come out blurry, but... And then sometimes the defects can happen not in real time. So as you can see, taking pictures in the dark, having blurry pictures happen in real time. But there are times when it's processed afterwards, but it could still be a defect. For example, I'm going to show you my photos on my scorecard. So yeah, you need good photos or they'll be rejected. Sometimes they can be rejected by blurry photos, having a human in the photo, no packages detected. You can see I have like 7. Package in the car, if you take it from the truck. Package in hand, package not visible, package too close, and photos too dark. But yeah, you gotta make sure you take good photos here at Amazon. You guys gotta be like a good Instagram photographer if you want to be an Amazon driver. Oh, you guys know I have merch? If you watch my past few videos, you probably know about Discipline Dog. Back in the day when I first started at FedEx, when I first started at Amazon, I used to carry a Poland Spring plastic bottle with me because I was always thirsty. But then I was like, wait a minute, I'm a YouTuber, I can make merch. And it was obvious, I can make my own water bottle. So that's what I did. Discipline Dog, made by driver, for drivers. So yeah, this is a smaller version, 32 ounce, that fits in all Stefan and trucks. It fits in the FedEx Express truck. I asked the UPS guy to put it in the middle of his cup holder and it fits. The EDVs, the electric vehicles, are slightly have bigger cups, but they do fit. It holds my keys and it also comes with a paracord. So it's like a little clip. You because as a driver, I'm always on the go. I have a backpack that I carry on with me, so I just clip it to my backpack. The coolest feature is the MagSafe right here. My phone right here. And have my coffee right here. It's perfect. Look at that. If you don't have an iPhone or a MagSafe case, don't worry about it because my bottles do come with an adhesive magnetic sticker. My last video, I told you guys that was trash. It's not trash. It's actually something of use. One side's magnetic, the other side's adhesive. You can stick it on your non-iPhones, your Androids, or your non-iPhone MagSafe cases. Yeah, so check out my merch. There should be a link to my website down below. Or if you look below this YouTube video, there should be my shop. You don't even have to leave YouTube. So the last thing I want to talk about is the Netrodyne AI cameras. I'm going to use the term AI loosely here in my video, so don't give me a hard time. But essentially, this camera has a 360 view and watches us all day. Before, we used to use an app called Mentor. Mentor was an app that tracks speeds, your seatbelt, driver distraction. But now we have these bad boys that have AI technology in them. So like I said, it stays on all day, and it only really turns off if you leave the truck idle for 20 minutes. Since the truck is on pretty much all day, it's gonna watch us all day. Now the footage can only be seen by your dispatcher if they request it. Maybe you got into an accident or there's some damage on the truck that wasn't there before and they want to see your whole day. They can do that. Going back to Eclipse, they can see all the infractions you did. So let's say you run that stop sign. Your dispatcher is going to get a 10 to 20 second clip of you running that stop sign. It also gets reported to Amazon, and if you get a lot of infractions, that will also affect your scorecard. There are a lot of different infractions you can get. I'm going to go to Desktop Chris to explain everything there. So the AI cameras that they use at Amazon are made by a company called Netrodyne. Essentially, it can detect stop signs, stop lights, the speed limit sign, your driver activity, and a bunch of other stuff. In this video, I'm going to show you what the camera actually sees. So we're going to play the video. So this is from a website, or it's from another YouTube channel, Rocket Logistics. So you can see here it detects the texting. It can text the phone in your hand. Talking on the phone, it sees that the phone is above your face. It can detect that. Camera obstruction, it's blocking the phone with the Android. No U-turn signs, it knows. It also tracks like the speed and acceleration on the bottom. That's what you're seeing right now. Here's the driver going over the speed limit, and you can see it could tell the other cars as well. Red lights, there's a red box around it. Boom, you just ran a red light. You get fired for that too. It detects not wearing a seatbelt, so this driver's not wearing a seatbelt, and your following distance. This one's a big one. I always get this one because I'm just so used to driving so close to everyone. If you hard brake, you can see that little graph on the bottom. Whoo! Hard acceleration. Stop sign violation. You need to come to a complete stop for at least 1 second. At the end of the day, you can ask your dispatcher if you had any infractions, and if he's cool and nice enough, he might show you these clips of yourself. It's very important that you drive by the rules because at the end of the day, it's going to affect the DSP scorecard, which I'll get towards the end. Alright, we're back at the station, and we gotta return our totes. If you don't return your totes, you're gonna be put on an Excel sheet on which drivers don't return the totes. I know as drivers, sometimes we like to leave them at apartments because there's so much, but Amazon does have an Excel sheet because these totes are expensive. I think they go for like $12 a pop. So you'll be put on a list if you keep leaving your totes everywhere. Just letting you know. Alright, one of the last things we have to do here at Amazon is go through the AVI tunnel. Let me cut this guy off. Oh, he's good. As I explained before, the AVI tunnel searches, it has like AI technology in it. So it checks for dents, for cracks, for tires, tread, checks for everything. Excuse me. and it also takes photos of the vehicle. So you have like a history of all the damages on what days you get dents and stuff. So there we go. Because sometimes, like, say you do damage to the vehicle, it might not be caught that day because, you know, look how many vehicles you have to check every day. The AVI tunnel will have a history of photos to know which driver did what damage on what day. I think the photos only go back for like maybe like a week or two. So if they don't notice within a month, you should be good. You also have to do your post inspection. 90 seconds, guys. 90 seconds, remember. For the EVs, and for step vans, it's 5 minutes. So take your time on it. Make sure you check everything on the checklist. A lot of times drivers don't check. They just you know, if everything's good with the truck, it's good. So what happens with all these metrics? Well, they all go on your driver scorecard. Here we are ranked on a weekly basis compared to the other drivers on the team. And how well we do as a team will also affect the overall score of the DSP scorecard as well. So right here is the driver scorecard. You can see there's a list of drivers. We all hit fantastic at the top. The top 3 names are the best. And there's different areas of work. For example, here's customer delivery feedback. Here's delivered and received. Here's the picture on delivery. All these are the Netrodyne cameras. They see everything. Here's DNRs did not receive. So let's say you have a package, you're expecting a package and it says it's delivered, but when you walk outside it's not there. You contact Amazon and a driver gets a did not received, which is a bad thing. This week I had 3. You can see here I am at the very bottom. Not doing so good. There's a customer compliance. I only have 1. Customer compliance is sometimes drivers can call or text the customer if they need to. If you live in a good neighborhood, you don't really need to call anyone. But let's say you deliver in the hood, I call like everyone. Because leaving a package at like an apartment building, the chances of it getting stolen from an apartment building, very high. But in a wealthy neighborhood, you don't really need to call. Which is kind of crazy because sometimes your dispatcher will be like, yo, you gotta make at least like 10 calls a day or something because they just want to hit metrics. So yeah, this is the driver scorecard. And then if we open, hold on, and here's the DSP scorecard. It's divided into different categories. Here we are, overall standing, which is fantastic. This week we hit fantastic, but there's also fantastic plus. The DSP scorecard is very important because how well the team performs is how well or how much we'll get in bonuses. Bonuses are based on if we hit fantastic, fantastic plus, or great, and they can range up to like $5,000 up to like $15,000 depending on how many routes you do. And if you work with an owner that really cares about his pockets and you're a bottom tier driver, you might have a rough time. You might see yourself getting your hours cut, less of a priority, or even worse, getting fired. And I heard that DSPs, if they can't hit fantastic or fantastic plus on a weekly basis, and it's just like fair / great, they won't last long. Meaning that DSPs really rely on the bonuses to actually make a profit. These are some of the things you should know before you work at Amazon, because sometimes technology can benefit mankind and other times it can just make it overall worse. So yeah guys, if you learned anything new, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. My name is Chris and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Later.